Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2025 Vero Film Awards. I am Cameron Ramsey, your host, category creator, voter, and alongside me I have Gabe, working off stage as the producer, set designer, lighter. He brings all the technical aspects to the group. Vero means, from Latin, truth, which is a very pretentious way of saying that my awards are the truth. It's really just my opinion. There's no pool of voters. It's literally just me, so I'm definitely biased, but there's no lobbying or political ties here. No one is campaigning, trying to alter my opinions. It's just me. No one cares about these awards, so they're not affected by big studios. What to expect for this award ceremony: we will announce a category, then I will announce the nominees in the category, then the winner, and I will talk about the winner, or maybe some of the other nominees as well if I feel so inclined. As for some of my original categories, I'll also explain those beforehand. There will be 3 sections, 2 breaks in the middle, each 3 minutes long. But without further ado, feel free to comment if you want to, and we're going to get started here. The first slate of award, the Best Supporting Actress. The nominees are Danielle Deadwyler for The Piano Lesson, Ingenue Ellis-Taylor for Nickel Boys, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones, The Brutalist, and Margaret Qualley, The Substance. And the winner is Ariana Grande. If you had told me 5 years ago that Ariana Grande would be winning my award show for Best Supporting Actress, I would have called you crazy. But this year in Wicked, she stole the show for a large part. She has amazing singing voice, as everyone knows. She's funny, she has an emotional through line, and I really just felt that she deserves it. There were some great performances here. This was a strange year. Pretty much all of these performances are drastically different. It's hard to compare them. But this is also Ariana Grande's first part of the film. It's a 2-part series. There's another one coming out next year. I doubt she'll win for that. It seems at the end of the film that it's moving towards focusing on the main character a lot more, but she definitely stole the show this time around. All right. Congratulations, Ariana Grande, for winning for Wicked. Moving on to the Best Supporting Actor nominations, we have Yura Borisiv, Honora, Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain, Clarence McLinn, Sing Sing, Edward Norton, A Complete Unknown, and Guy Pearce, The Brutalist. And the winner is Kieran Culkin. Kieran Culkin was borderline the lead performance. I've seen some people online say he should be considered as the lead, but I just do what everyone else says, so here he is in supporting actor. Kieran Culkin is a very famous TV actor, making a big debut for film. He's acted in films before, but never to this extent. He brought such a real performance to the screen. He feels like someone I've known in real life. So much strange quirks and personality traits. There's also 2 newcomers this year in Clarence McLinn and Yura Borisiv, which is pretty impressive to have 2 nominations in a category with actors that I've never seen or heard before. Clarence McLinn is actually playing himself in Sing Sing. Guy Pearce and Edward Norton are also great, but congratulations to Kieran Culkin on his win in A Real Pain. Next up, we have the category Best Hair/Makeup. The nominees are A Different Man, Beetlejuice, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked. And the winner is The Substance. The Substance was a very diverse, shocking film for a lot of people. Not everyone loved it, but I don't think you can deny the quality of the body horror, the special effects, whether massive, disgusting creatures or very slight fingernail clippings. It's all intense from small to large scale. It was terrifying, but also just incredibly impressive. The style, of course, too, when you look at the hairstyles and all the characters look so distinct and strange, very uncanny feel. Everyone else in this category was great as well, but The Substance absolutely knocked it out of the park this year, so congratulations to The Substance for winning Best Hair and Makeup. Next is Best Costume Design. The nominees are Beetlejuice, Dune Part 2, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. And the winner is Dune Part 2. As is visible in the poster, the muted colors can lead people to think that there's not a lot of variety in the costumes, but the costumes look so real, and there's so many different legions of people, distinct color palettes, and there's so many defining characteristics. There's also extreme characters that look very different from everyone else. There's so many people in this film that have real costumes on it. It's just a very beautiful job done by Dune Part 2. The other films as well, Nosferatu and Wicked, had very distinct fantasy styles, and Beetlejuice, building off the original Beetlejuice, looks just as good, if not better, than that classic film, and Gladiator 2 as well, building off its predecessor. But this year, it was not even close, really. Dune Part 2 dominated this category. Congratulations, Dune Part 2, for winning Best Costume Design. Next, we have Best Film Editing, and the nominees are Anora, The Brutalist, Challengers, Conclave, and Dune Part 2. The winner is Dune Part 2. Film editing is a strange category for those that don't understand what it really means, but when you watch Dune Part 2, a 2-hour, 45-minute film, and you get out of the theater and it feels like you were just in there for an hour, that is very impressive film editing. Same with The Brutalist, 3.5 hours long, and it also feels very smooth, so it was a great competitor this year. Dune Part 2 also balances very large groups of people in different planets, different solar systems, I don't know, they're all over the place. It also handles time really well, jumping forward in time years. It's all put together very well. Challengers and Conclave as well, very good films. Anora had very strange pacing, which relates to film editing, so I nominated that for a special flair this year. But really, Dune Part 2 wins again. Congratulations, Dune Part 2, for winning film editing. Next, we have the Best Visual Effects, right before the nominees are Alien Romulus, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Twisters, and Wicked. The winner is Dune Part 2. Dune Part 2 this year is one of, if not the best, visual effects film ever. It blends reality with CGI. Like, I literally cannot tell the difference, and they're blowing up alien planets. It's incredibly impressive. Dune Part 2 builds on its previous film and adds many more artistic landscapes and bigger fights. It's very impressive. This year, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes had the unfortunate competitor of Dune Part 2 because as a film that's almost entirely CGI, it looks beautiful as well. If you say Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was better, I won't argue against you, but for me, it was Dune Part 2 this year. Congratulations, Dune Part 2. And last but not least, before the first break, we have Best Animated Film. The nominees are Flow, Inside Out 2, Look Back, Transformers 2, and The Wild Robot. And the winner is Transformers 1. Transformers 1 wins for its incredible animation, which I feel was very underrated. The marketing team for this movie didn't do a great job. People thought it was a kids movie, and then it actually, you get into it, it's PG-13, so it didn't do very well at the box office, but this was an incredible film. You already know what's coming at the end, and the fact that it still makes you feel big emotions with the Megatron Optimus Prime obvious fallout that we all know is coming, it's very compelling, very tragic. And that's just really underrated for this film, as well as it being incredibly funny, incredibly visually advanced. It's all around a great film that I think didn't give enough credit this year. Look Back was also very, it's in the Japanese art style. It's very beautiful, very emotional, probably the most emotional film of the year. Flo and The Wild Robot are the two Oscar competitors, I believe, this year that are both very good. But for me, Transformers 1 was the best animated film of the year. So congratulations, Transformers 1. And we will now take a break for 3 minutes. Welcome back to the 2025 Vero Film Awards. Beginning the second slate, we have Best Breakout Performance, which is a category that's kind of difficult to conceptualize. Typically, it is younger people, but it doesn't necessarily mean it will always be younger people. Anyone can be nominated for this category, and not everyone, this is their first performance, but it's either their first large performance where they got a lot of success, or they were in a big film and they had a great performance in that film, regardless of whether they're getting attention for that performance. This year, the nominees are David Johnson for Alien Romulus, Clarence McClin, Sing Sing, Nico Parker, Suncoast, Connor Sherry, Snack Shack, and Maisie Stella, My Old Ass. And the winner is Clarence McClin, Sing Sing. Clarence McClin, as I've already touched on, was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. In this film, he matches Coleman Domingo, who is now a two-time Oscar nominee for Best Actor. He's also, you could say he's playing himself. That's not fair, but a lot of people, when you put them in front of a camera, can't do anything. In his emotional range, you have to be able to demonstrate that to the audience. You can't just, this is what happened to me. It's very impressive. And in a cast full of people playing themselves, he stands out as a full-time actor. So I hope he continues his career. He definitely deserves this win. Some of the other nominees have already been cast in larger films, even than the ones they were already in. Nico Parker, for example, is going to be Astrid in the new How to Train Your Dragon coming out this year. But congratulations, Clarence McClin, for the win in Sing Sing and Best Breakout Performance. The next category is Best Cinematic Experience, which is another new category at the Vero Film Awards. Cinematic experience is very arbitrary as well. What defines cinematic experience? Well, for me, it's a movie that is made better by being in the theater. So whether that's the big screen, more detail, specifically sound design is a big one. How well you use the sound systems, whether it's IMAX or just a normal theater. So you will see some musical films. You'll see massive blockbusters, especially. Just movies that you want to go see in the theater. It's going to make a difference as opposed to watching at home. This year, the nominees are A Complete Unknown, Alien Romulus, Challengers, Civil War, Dune Part 2, Kneecap, and Twisters. And the winner is Dune Part 2. Dune Part 2 is here because it is one of the best cinematic experiences I've ever had in my entire life. This category, you could say, was created just to give it another award, though I think it's a great category moving forward as well. That pretty much wraps it up. You'll see Kneecap, A Complete Unknown, those musical films I was talking about, then Alien Romulus, Civil War, another blockbuster hit, Twisters as well, and then Challengers plays with music and is semi-blockbuster sports related. So this is just a fun category, really, and congratulations to Dune Part 2 for winning Best Cinematic Experience. Next, we have the Best Sound Design. The nominees are A Complete Unknown, Alien Romulus, Dune Part 2, The Substance, and Wicked. And the winner is Dune Part 2. Dune Part 2 wins in sound design. This goes along with cinematic experience, like I said, the sound elements of a theater. So there's more music here as well. We added Wicked, and then the blockbusters of Alien Romulus, Dune Part 2. And The Substance had a really strange, immersive experience with its sound. Very low-key compared to the rest, but I think it deserves this nomination entirely. Dune Part 2 just, blows you away with its themes, musical themes. The sound effects of the different creatures and explosions and the wars, it's just incredible. So congratulations, Dune Part 2, for the best sound design. Moving on to best production design, we have The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. And the winner is Dune Part 2. Production design is a visual encapsulation of what is put to screen. It includes costumes, hair and makeup, all of that, but it also includes set design as well. That's a big component here. How well the world looks overall how cohesive it is. And I think Dune Part 2 really blew it out of the park. As I've said, it won Best Visual Effects with the CGI and natural set blending. It's been nominated in a lot of other categories, has a lot of wins already. The production design is beautiful, flawless even, and for so much sci-fi, it's a very impressive achievement. Wicked as well was probably second here. It wins in most other years. It's very impressive, a lot more impressive than I thought it was going to be. A lot of practical sets, which I appreciated a lot. But Dune Part 2, congratulations for your win and Best Production Design. Next, we have Best Cinematography. The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nickel Boys, and Nosferatu. The winner is The Brutalist. The Brutalist, this is its first win of the night. It's a return to classic grandiose filmmaking that the 70s had in America, such as The Godfather or Once Upon a Time in America. It's a return to that format, and it's shocking when you find out this was made on $10 million when its competitors had upwards of $200 million for their budgets, and it just looks phenomenal, flawless. I mean, it's not just the big shots, the wide shots that everyone loves in cinematography, but even to the most minute details, the smallest scenes, putting a character in darkness when a revelation's happening. It's just genius from start to finish, and it's the longest movie here. Dune Part 2 could have won this category. I wouldn't be mad if you gave it to it. It definitely deserves an award, but it just lost to The Brutalist because I felt it was slightly better. But overall, a great category. Nickel Boys this year featured a style of filmmaking that I'm not familiar with. The first-person POV. It has two characters as well, so it bounces back and forth. Really immersive, very bold decision from Ramel Ross there, but congratulations to The Brutalist for its win in Best Cinematography. Next, we have the Best Adapted Screenplay. Adapted screenplay means adapted from either a play, a book, just not a completely original script. So the nominees are Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nickel Boys, Sing Sing, and The Piano Lesson. And the winner is Nickel Boys. Nickel Boys is a very dark but also uplifting at time film, a very emotional, set in the Deep South during the mid-1900s, I would say. I'm not entirely sure, but it's more of a historical film based on a true story. Very incredible at what it does, especially the cinematography, as I spoke to, isn't considered when talking about screenplay really, but when you consider the style limitations that were put in place as well, how effectively he was able to still get the story across, the use of different shots. And I've never seen a film that plays with your emotions the way and that sets you up the way this film does. So it definitely deserves this win. Sing Sing is a very inspiring story. It was written and directed by two members of the Sing Sing facility where this program, the Rehabilitation Through Theater program at Sing Sing, actually takes place. So that's a very inspiring story, and also played by the cast of the original people at Sing Sing. Sing Sing is a prison, for those that don't know. Very great story there. Close second for me. Dune Part 2 and Conclave, they're very dialogue-heavy, long films. So when you have a screenplay and the film still feels exciting, that's very impressive. And The Piano Lesson, you can feel the adaptation from the stage. It feels like you're watching a play, but it's very interesting, very fun, in my opinion. I thought it was very new, so worthy of a nomination, but Nickel Boys ultimately deserves the win. So congratulations for the Best Adapted Screenplay win, Nickel Boys. And the final category before our second break is Best Original Screenplay. So this is a screenplay that is completely original, obviously. The nominees are A Real Pain, Honora, Challengers, The Brutalist, and The Substance. The winner is Honora. There have been films that play with time going forward, backwards, but I've never seen a film that changes its pacing the way Honora does. And what I mean by that is that the first 30 minutes of the film really blow through weeks at a time, breakneck speed. It's hard to keep up with what's happening at times. And then all of a sudden it slows down to a halt, and the last hour, 15 minutes takes place over the course of a day and a half. It's very strange, but it also works completely. The screenplay as well introduces characters in ways I've never seen before. It was very impressive. It got you in the mind of other people. It's like, why am I looking at this guy? You get into their head even when they're not speaking. They're just sitting there. So even when the hilarious but also emotional screenplay isn't actually speaking to you, as screenplays aren't just words, it's still making you think about other characters, which is very impressive. And the film, as I've said, was hilarious, very funny, probably one of the funniest movies of the year. But at the end, I mean, it just hits you like a truck. If you've seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about. Very impressive. Challengers, like Doom Part 2 and Conclave, nominated last category, plays with time. So does The Brutalist. It spans over a decade, and it's so long, but still so concise and fun to watch. The Substance probably has the least words about any film I nominated, but there's also something to be said for the way you tell a story without words. That's very impressive as well. It's all written down, planned out, and it's very successful in doing that. A Real Pain, two what feels like real characters. Jesse Eisenberg wrote this script, his directorial debut as well. Very impressive from him, but Honora was the best original screenplay, and I would say best screenplay of the year. So congratulations to Honora for its win. And that will conclude the second section. Thank you. We will be back in another 3 minutes for the final slate of awards. Welcome back to the final slate of awards. We have starting Best Score. The nominees are Alien Romulus, Challengers, Conclave, Dune Part 2, and The Brutalists. The winner is Dune Part 2. Dune Part 2 was scored by the legend Hans Zimmer. It's pretty fitting that he would win the first ever Vero Film Awards. I'm happy to be giving it to him. Though there was no bias in the decision, he just killed it. This is one of the best scores of all time, and it's a shame the Academy Awards will not be nominating him or even considering him at all because he used a certain amount of music from the original film. But I still feel like even if you were to consider the fact that there's some themes that carry over, the amount of expansion he made was well worth a new nomination. This is a completely different score with completely different themes. It's incredible in my opinion. Alien Romulus had very beautiful moments, but as it's an alien movie, you already know it's going to be horrific, and it has multiple instruments. Of course, it has the big impact moments, but it's not just dissonance. There's style to it. It's very well-deserving score here. Challengers as well. It and Conclave could be deemed repetitive, but when you watch the film, it really controls the emotions and the way you feel about scenes. It dictates what you think is going to happen, so it's very impressive scores there. And The Brutalist was probably second place for me. Very soaring and also dark at the same time, but nothing was going to beat Hans Zimmer for Dune Part 2, so congratulations on the win for Best Score. The next category is Best Niche Film, which is a category new, the Vero Film Awards, original. It's hard to describe a niche film, so my criteria is just that it made less than $7.5 million at the worldwide box office. So all these nominations will have made less than that. Of course, I didn't see every film. I wish I had a foreign film category, but I don't have access to foreign films. They release on streaming very late, or sometimes not at all. They definitely don't come out in theaters very often. So a lot of these are American, but there are some foreign films here. Hopefully in the future, I'll be able to have a foreign films category. But these are the best nominations for niche film. DD, Ghostlight, I Saw the TV Glow, Kneecap, Mild Ass, The Outrun, and Touch. And the winner is DD. Dee Dee is the first coming-of-age story that's really true to my generation. It has a lot of culture that's not made fun of. It's just appreciated. A lot of situations in this film presented, I felt, apply to me in a way that other coming-of-age stories of previous generations just don't. So I might be a little biased here, but it also reviews very well. It unfortunately didn't have a lot of promotion behind it. A lot of these films are emotional, maybe cheesy at times, but when you're talking about films that don't have a lot of budget or they're new directors, new writers, these are very impressive films for the quality that they're putting out. You don't see a lot of blockbuster action because that takes a lot of money. These films don't have that, and they use the story, the script, the camera to tell very compelling stories. So it was between Dee Dee and I Saw the TV Glow for me, but in the end, Dee Dee wins the award for Best Niche Film. Moving on to Best Film Performer of the Year. This is a category that encapsulates every performance given by an actor, so not just their best of the year. The nominees are Timothée Chalamet, Willem Dafoe, Saoirse Ronan, Sebastian Stan, and Kaylee Spaney. And the winner is Willem Dafoe. This year, Willem Dafoe starred in Kinds of Kindness, Beetlejuice, Saturday Night, and Nosferatu. That is insane to be in 4 films, 4 major films, and have completely different roles in all of them. He was never a main lead in a film, always more supporting, although in Kinds of Kindness it's a long film when he had a major role in all 3 parts of it. It would be impressive for an actor to be in a film every year, or have a year where 2 films release. You'll hear Sebastian Stan talk about the only reason he was in 2 big films this year is because of the strikes and delays, but Willem Dafoe is just in a bunch of movies every year. Timothy Chalamet is here for Dune Part 2 and Complete Unknown, Saoirse Ronan for Blitz and The Outrun, Sebastian Stan for A Different Man and his Oscar-nominated role, The Apprentice. Congratulations to him for that. And Kaylee Spaney for Civil War and Alien Romulus. There's a lot of variety in these performances, but Willem Dafoe just knocked it out of the park, and he might continue to if he keeps acting in so many projects. So congratulations, Willem Dafoe, for Best Film Performer of the Year. Moving on, Best Director. Sean Baker, Anora. Brady Corbet, The Brutalist. Corley Fargeois, The Substance. Ramel Ross, Nickel Boys. And Denis Villeneuve for Dune Part 2. The winner is Brady Corbet, The Brutal. I've spoken about it before in a previous Brutalist win, but this film had a $10 million budget, shot in a month, and it has an incredible, massive vision and scope. This film takes place in multiple continents, all over the multiple different sets, massive sets, and it's just impressive for a director who's never directed a film before to command $10 million, bring back a form of camera that's never been used since the 70s, and shoot a film that most people didn't want him to make because it was too risky, and he did it. He stuck to his vision the entire time, and it's one of the best films of the year. It's very impressive from him. Sean Baker and Ramel Ross were close seconds for me. Both of their styles and choices were very impressive. Denis Villeneuve for Dune Part 2, one of the best films of the year, and Corley Fargeois for The Substance, one of the most stylized and also one of the best films of the year. But it was always going to be Brady Corbet once I saw the film and found out about his limitations. Very incredible, very impressive. Not just for the budget, on its own merit, he is the best director of the year. Congratulations, Brady Corbet, for The Brutalist. The final 3 categories kicks off with Best Actress. The nominees are Cynthia Erivo, Wicked, Mikey Madison, Anora, Demi Moore, The Substance, Saoirse Ronan, The Outrun, and Tilda Swinton, The Room Next Door. And the winner is Mikey Madison, Anora. Mikey Madison is only 25 years old, and I think not just best lead actress performance of the year, the best performance of the year, and I don't think it's close. It's the Cillian Murphy of this year for me. Demi Moore has been winning. She won the Golden Globe, and she's now projected to win at other awards, and she is, now that I've reconsidered her after she won, very close second. Very interesting performance to say the least, but for me it is definitely Mikey Madison. Cynthia Erivo shows off her vocal performance, but she had the show stolen from her by Ariana Grande, as I touched on. I think in the second film she'll have a much stronger control over that film, and I do apologize for not being able to see Fernanda Torres and Maureen Jean-Baptiste for their films. I've heard that they had a lot of merit to be nominated, but I was just not able to see them. It wouldn't have mattered. Mikey Madison, Performance of the Year. Congratulations for Best Lead Actress. Second to last category, Best Actor. The nominees are Adrian Brody, The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet, A Complete Unknown, Colman Domingo, Sing Sing, Nicholas Hoult for Juror Number 2, and Justice Smith, I Saw the TV Glow. The winner is Adrian Brody, The Brutal. I just said that Mikey Madison was the performance of the year. Well, Adrian Brody is the clear second best performance of the year. A 3.5-hour epic about him as architect immigrating to America. He's in basically the entire thing and just absolutely kills the entire movie. Very impressive. Timmy also did well in A Complete Unknown. Very impressive biopic work. Coleman Domingo was very compelling in Sing Sing. And Nicholas Hoult and Justice Smith were two people that haven't gotten almost any recognition all awards campaign season and any other category. Actually, they have not been nominated for any other award, but they were just very interesting performances that commanded the screen. Justice Smith was definitely the most abstract, and I thought they deserved to be nominated here, but Adrian Brody absolutely killed it. So congratulations, Adrian Brody, for winning Best Actor. And the final category, Best Film of the Year. The nominees are Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Dee Dee, I Saw the TV Glow, Nickel Boys, Sing Sing, The Substance, and Wicked. And the winner is Anora. Not only is Anora the best film of the year for me, but it's one of the best films I've seen in the 2020s. It's very, has a massive range, very interesting techniques, a new cast that introduced to the world. It's very impressive in that regard, but it also has a very important factor that I will be establishing a precedent here with, is that it has a compelling social message to the current times. The Brutalist and Dune Part 2 have won more awards, had more nominations in technical categories as well as the more important categories, as some would say. But they also lend themselves to established genres or history, whereas I feel Anora and Nickel Boys even, which would be my second place film, are very progressive. Not that those aren't progressive, but it's just setting a precedent here that the Vero Film Awards will consider more original films as the Best Picture winner, not just the technically best made film of the year. All of these films were very good. Wicked, The Substance, Sing Sing, Nickel Boys, a lot of these films that got in. Dee Dee, I Saw the TV Glow, those two were just my personal preference. Those aren't very popular with other nominations for best films, but I think they definitely deserve to be here. But as you see, there's a lot of films here. I've mentioned a lot of films throughout the night, or the afternoon, but Anora trumps them all as the best film of the year. I hope you go see all these films, and with that, that concludes the 2025 Vero Film Awards. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next year.